M&A TV. Very happy now to be joined by Lou Shipley, who's the president and CEO of Black Duck Software. Lou, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Claudia. Pleasure to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Black Duck, if you will. Your
Sure.
CEO and how you got started.
Sure. Black Duck Software is a company that helps other companies manage their growing use of open source software, which is growing very, very rapidly. And so we help companies manage it from a compliance and security point of view.
And if you will, just to back up a little bit, open source software, what is that?
So open source is sort of the fundamental new software development architecture that software developers use today, as opposed to proprietary software. Open source is where developers will write some code and contribute it to a community, an open source community. And so it's free for developers to use, but when you use it, you have to comply with the license under which the developers have published that software.
How widely used is it?
Well, it's a good question. It's growing very, very much. There's now over 1.5 million open source projects worldwide, and some companies use as much of 90% of their software development is open source, and 10% would be proprietary. So it's grown really rapidly over the last few years.
Is it true that some companies aren't even aware?
It's often very much the case that companies have no idea how much their developers are using. Some companies have thousands and thousands of software developers that are all under pressure to deliver code quickly and to hit release dates and to ship product. And so oftentimes they don't even know how much open source they're using.
How important is this in the role in M&A transactions?
It's very important in the role of M&A because oftentimes a company will be buying a target company for their intellectual property. And so if the target is using a lot of open source software and they're not compliant with the open source licenses under which they're published, then the acquiring company could have a problem. They'd have to have that software rewritten or not be able to leverage the intellectual property they want to buy.
Okay, let's get back to your company now for a moment. Let's talk about the Hub, what that is.
Sure. The Black Duck Hub is a product of ours that helps companies quickly manage their open source. You can download a version of the Hub and try it for free, and then upgrade to a fully functional version of the product once you've tested it out a little bit. Specifically, what it's really good for is helping you understand what open source vulnerabilities are in your code. So there's about 10 new open source vulnerabilities discovered every day. And so you need to make sure that the code you're shipping or the code you're using for your internal applications don't have vulnerabilities that a hacker might try to exploit. Because that can cause all sorts of problems.
Because it's an open forum.
Yeah.
So is there any way then to make it more secure?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what the Hub does. It helps you manage open source security vulnerabilities. So we would take your code, scan it, and match it against our knowledge base of all the open source projects and our security information, which would tell you if you have a component or a library that has a vulnerability in there, and then we'd recommend how you'd fix that.
And anyone who wanted to learn more about this, could they go to your website?
Go to the website and ask for a free trial.
Okay, and what is the website?
blackducksoftware.com.
Lou, it was a pleasure to have you here
today. Thank you very much,
Thank
Claudia.
you so much.